Hi yogis, my name's Alicia. Welcome to today's class. We'll get started in a seated meditation soon, but you might want to grab yourself a block, or if you don't have a block at home, maybe a thick book or a cushion. Just have it by the edge of the mat, and you might want to come and use it towards the end of today's class. See you on the mat. Coming into a comfortable kneeling position. If it's not comfortable for your knees or your ankles to have your hips on your feet, towards your feet for a prolonged amount of time, you might want to separate the knees and the feet, spreading the hips down in between, or maybe come and rest on a block in between the feet or a cushion. That might help give you a little bit more support. When you're ready, coming into whatever comfortable kneeling position that you can stay in for this section of the class, our pranayama meditation. Stacking the shoulders gently over the hips, closing down the eyes, drawing the chin just gently closer towards the chest, just to create a nice neutral neck. Closing down the eyes if you haven't already, coming into today's space, wherever you may be. Inhaling and exhaling, in and out, through the nose, keeping the lips closed but gently apart. No tension should be in the jaw. So today's class is all about the theme water, riding the breath and using your body like a wave, creating some nice luxurious rolls with the body, with the spine. And when I think of water and meditation, I think of the pranayama technique, Ujjayi pranayama, which is also referred to as the ocean's breath, because it creates that audible sound like the wave gently crashing onto a beach shore. To do this, the breath comes in and out through the nose. And as you inhale, you want the breath to travel through the nostril and down through the back of the throat center. And on the exhale, keeping the breath slightly constricted there, maybe even raising tongue to the roof of the mouth. You're going to exhale the breath up through the throat, out of the nose, creating an audible sound. Almost like if you were at your mirror in your bathroom and it was all hot and steamy from a shower, and you were breathing and creating fog against the mirror. It's almost kind of that movement, that kind of pattern of the breath in the back of the throat. Together, if you haven't already started to engage your Ujjayi breath, I'm going to inhale through the nose, allowing the breath to come to the back of the throat, maybe pausing for a moment, letting it settle there, letting it linger. Then exhale, constricting the throat, allowing the breath to vibrate through the body, keeping that going. With every inhale, you really want to focus on allowing the belly to expand with the breath, puffing up through the tops of the chest. And the exhale allows the belly to constrict a little bit, the ribs knitting in towards each other. Just a few more. letting the attention go of your surroundings, just focusing internally on the breath. One more round. And then after the next exhale, blinking the eyes open and gently coming into a tabletop position. Before sinking the hips back into child's pose, reaching the arms forward. Exhaling, dropping the chest down in between the legs. Drawing the hips back with every exhale, reaching forward on the inhale. Maybe the forehead to the floor, maybe the chin. Just settling into the space, a few breaths here. And inhale to reach the arms a little bit longer. Exhale, draw the belly into the spine and slowly curl the body up into a seated kneeling position. Hands reach behind on the floor, behind the feet. Inhale to draw the shoulders down the back. Lift up through the chest, maybe the gaze. Pressing through the shins, you might lift the hips off the heels, gazing to the back of the room. Exhale to roll back down, hips reach the heels. Coming back into your child's pose, but the arms remain back behind you. On an inhale, you're going to slowly lift the hips, arms spread wide as you stack the hips over the knees. Exhale, trying to keep the moment at the same time as you slowly descend hips to heels, hands to mat. Staying for one round of inhale in your child's pose. And exhale. Inhale to lengthen the arms. Exhale, belly to spine, slowly roll the body up. Reach the arms back on the floor, pressing firmly through the hands and the shins to inhale, lift up the chest. Maybe pressing the hips up. Exhale to curl back down. Chin to chest, coming back into that child's pose with the arms reaching long behind you. Inhale to rise, hips coming up high, stacking over the knees. Gazing at the fingertips. Exhale to slowly descend into a long child's pose. Arms reaching forward. Got 2 more rounds of that. Gentle warm up just to warm up the spine. Inhale to reach a little bit more forward with the hands. Exhale, round the body up to a seated kneeling position. Hands reach behind the back. Inhale, puff up the chest. Maybe draw the chin a little bit more back. Exhale into child's pose, arms behind. Inhale to rise. Hands reach up above head. Exhale to sink into child's pose. Stay for a whole round of breath. We have one more. Just like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to curl up. On the inhale, lifting the hips. Maybe a little bit higher this time. Exhale into child's. Inhale to rise. Exhale to child's. One last round of breath here. And then coming up into tabletop. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and just a few gentle cat-cows. So inhale to draw the belly down and the chest through the arms. Really arching through the spine, tucking the lower butt up. Exhale to round for cat. Thinking of drawing the chin towards the chest. Keeping the lower belly pressed up into the spine. Inhale for cow. Really grip the mat with the fingers to spread the chest through. Draw the shoulders down the back, away from the ears. Exhale cat, rounding everything. Keeping that going with your own breath. We'll all move at different moments. Each inhale and exhale may be longer or shorter than the one before. Maybe engaging that Ujjayi pranayama, really constricting the back of the throat. One more. And then after the next exhale, you're going to lift the hips up for downward facing dog. Maybe a few bends in the knees. Just lengthening the legs up and down the mat. Just warming them up before we go ahead. Keeping the knees nice and bent now. Maybe gazing in between the knees or in between the ankles. And really press the mat away, gripping the mat with the fingers. With every press of the mat away, notice that the side body lengthens and you create a nice long spine with the butt at the apex of your triangle. Maybe lengthening the heels slightly down, straightening the legs just a tad, keeping the hips nice and high, the spine nice and long. Then keeping that cat-cow momentum, we're going to do body rolls into high plank and downward dog. So on an inhale, you're going to wave the body forward like an angry cat, shoulders coming towards, over the wrists, gazing forward, lifting the chin off the chest at the last moment, keeping the lower belly tucked in, squeezing the inner thighs towards each other. Then exhale, gaze forward, think cow as you arch the back, maybe keeping the knees nice and bent until you come into downward dog. Chin should reach for the chest last. Keeping that going, inhale, wave the body forward, high plank. Slight back bend, arch the spine as you come back on an exhale, downward dog. Two more like that. Inhale, wave the body forward. Exhale, draw the hips high and back. One more. And then keeping the knees pressed in your downward dog. Gazing forward, keeping the lower belly tucked in towards the spine. You're going to slowly walk to the top of the mat, heel first if your hamstrings allow it. And then at the top of the mat, you're going to forward fold. Maybe hands to opposite elbows. Maybe swaying gently. Keeping the knees nice and bent. Trying to get the lower belly to the thighs. Then pressing firmly through the feet. Think about drawing the kneecaps forward and up. Lifting through the quadriceps, maybe straightening the legs a little bit more. Releasing the hands down. Inhale to halfway lift. Drawing the shoulders down the back. Exhale, forward fold. Uttanasana. On an inhale, you're going to rise to a standing position. Hands reach high overhead. Exhale through to Uttanasana. Inhale back up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, you're going to draw the heels off the floor, staying high on the balls of the feet, and lower halfway down for divers, drawing the chest forward but the arms back. Keep the shoulders pressed towards each other, the lower belly lifted. One more inhale. And then exhale, drop the heels down, coming back into your Uttanasana. Left leg Steps back, dropping the knee, Anjaneyasana, keeping the arms high. Exhale to sink the hips forward and down, lifting up through the chest. One more breath here. Really press firmly through the feet, spreading the mat apart. And then with each breath, you're going to inhale to lift high with the hands, and then exhale, draw the hands forward, tapping the ground ahead of your foot with the mat. Maybe drawing the chin towards the chest. Inhale to lift. Hands wave high to the sky. Exhale to wave the body forward, tapping the ground. One more. Exhale to draw down. This time staying low, keep drawing the hands by the side on the floor, rocking the hips back, straightening the front leg for half Hanumanasana. Thinking about scissoring the inner thighs towards each other just to neutralize through the hips. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Pressing the chest forward, allowing the belly to come to the top of the thigh. And then we're going to rock in between Anjaneyasana and your half Hanumanasana with the breath. So inhale, roll forward, lifting the arms for Anjaneyasana. And then exhale to straighten the front leg, half Hanumanasana. Keeping that going, 2 more like that. Inhale to lift. Exhale to straighten the front leg and fold. 1 more. Then pressing forward, stepping straight back to downward dog. 1 breath here. And then 2 rounds of that plank roll. No chaturanga in today's class. So on an inhale, wave the body forward, high plank. Exhale to downward dog. 1 more. As you wave the body forward, really draw, spread the upper back apart, puffing up through the back of the heart space. Exhale, downward dog. Bending the knees, gazing forward, step the right leg forward, follow the left through. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands through, Tadasana. Keeping that going with the breath. Inhale to lift. Lift the heels off the floor. Exhale to divers. So arms swing back as the chest reaches forward, drawing the hands towards each other. 1 more inhale. Exhale, plant the heels down. Fold into Uttanasana. Right leg steps back, dropping the knee, coming into Anjaneyasana. Really spreading the arms high, lifting through that side body, but relaxing the shoulders down. Just as you relax the shoulders, you also relax the hips a little bit closer towards that front big toe. Keeping the lower belly engaged, pressing gently towards the spine. And then a few of those wavy rolls. The hands reach high on the inhale, then exhale, over the front foot, they reach forward and down, tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. 2 more. One more. Really spread the chest up. Exhale to fold. Keeping the hands down, walking them back, straightening that front leg for half Hanumanasana. Spreading the chest forward, reaching the shoulders back, and then on the exhale, slowly sinking over that front leg. Keeping that foot nice and engaged, just to protect the hamstring. Really think about lifting that front kneecap up, rather than becoming hypermobile and engaging that hamstring a little bit too much. Then rolling forward and back into Anjaneyasana and half Hanumanasana. On the inhale, you bend into that front leg, lift the arm, exhale to straighten, chin coming down towards the chest. 2 more. Inhale for Anjaneyasana. Exhale, half Hanumanasana. Keeping that lower belly engaged as you move through the 2. One last time. Coming forward, stepping back into downward dog. Pausing for a breath, really spreading the fingertips apart, pressing firmly into the mat. Then 2 rounds of your body roll. So inhale to way forward, high plank. Exhale, downward dog. Creating a nice little bit of an arch in the spine in your dog. Inhale, 1 more round. Exhale, back to downward dog. Gazing forward in between the hands, left foot comes forward, followed by right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands rise to the sky. Exhale through the heart center. Inhale to lift. Heels come high. Exhale, dives. Inhale here to hold. Exhale, Uttanasana. This time on an inhale, you're going to lift the left knee into the chest. Stalk position. Exhale, slowly circle the leg back. Eventually making your way into crescent lunge. This time, for your crescent lunge, you're going to have the hands in a nice butterfly grip. So we want the right thumb forward to the left, in front of the left, say. Spread the arms up high, and grouping through the thumbs, you want to spread the hands apart and really open through the chest and the shoulders. Keeping that back knee bent gently, just to help stabilize you. Inhale to lift up a little bit higher. Exhale, same with the Anjaneyasana. You're going to tap the fingertips forward and down on the exhale. Inhale to lift back up. Exhale to tap down. 2 more. Last one. Spread the arms apart. Coming up just for a moment to open up into Warrior 2. So for Warrior 2, we want that back foot to 45 degrees. And we want to press firmly through both feet, not just the front. Just sinking the hips a little bit more forward and down. Gazing over that front middle finger. Then legs are going to stay exactly as they are. All that will move is the chest and the arms. Inhale to lengthen the arms apart. Exhale, back hand is going to swing forward, tapping that front hand. Inhale back. Exhale forward, tapping it. Inhale back. It's all subtle. Exhale, tap. Coming back into Warrior 2. Flipping up the right arm for easy, peaceful warrior. And then circling to the front of the mat. Stepping back into downward dog. Waving the body into high plank. Back into downward dog. This time adding on, inhale, waving to high plank. Keeping the toes tucked and firming through the tops of the thighs. You're going to lower the hips for floating dog. So unlike upward dog, you have your toes tucked. Keeping the lower belly engaged, the glutes squeezing towards each other. Press the mat away. Inhale here. Then exhale back to downward dog. Either stepping to the top of the mat like before, or maybe pressing the hands firmly, gazing forward, bending the knees, and on no breath, after the exhale, pressing through, finding the big toes to touch at the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Ending our vinyasa in Tadasana. Inhale to lift up through the arms, heels come high. Exhale, forward fold into divers. Halfway, reaching the chest forward on the inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana. Right leg is going to lift as you stand. Stork pose. Pausing just for a moment before swimming the leg back. Coming into crescent lunge. Butterfly grip, but this time with the left thumb on top. Keeping the hands apart as much as possible. Really lengthening the chest high. Pausing just for a moment to find stability in the legs. The more that you allow the exhale to help you sink and relax into the feet, the more you will eventually find a little bit more stability. Keeping those waves going, inhale to lift, exhale to draw the chest forward and down, tapping the floor. 3 more, inhale, exhale to draw it forward. It's okay to wobble. 1 more, really press firmly through the feet to find stability. Last one. Exhale, fold, coming upright, spreading the arms apart and opening up into warrior 2. Thinking about drawing the right butt just gently underneath, just to allow your left hip bone to sink a little bit more forward and down. Inhale, lengthen the arms out. Exhale, right hand meets left, tapping the palm. Back, 2 more. Exhale to draw it forward. 1 more. Exhale, forward. Coming back into warrior 2. Lifting the left arm up and over, stretching that left side body for reverse warrior. To windmill, to downward dog. Coming into that floating dog position. Going to inhale, wave the body forward, high plank. Back into your downward dog. This time adding the floating dog. Inhale, wave forward. Exhale to sink the hips, keeping those toes tucked, pressing firmly through the hands, tightening through the inner thighs. Pause for the inhale, then exhale, lift the hips back up. Downward dog. 2 breaths just to really focus on the breath. And gazing forward, stepping or jumping to the top of the mat. When you're ready, inhale to halfway lift and fold on the exhale. Allowing your seat maybe to lengthen a little bit higher. Spreading the hip bones apart. Coming to a standing position. Hands through to heart center. Tadasana. Last round, inhale to lift up through the arms. Exhale, lifting the heels, coming into divers. Same as the other flows. Inhale to lengthen the spine forward. Exhale to fold. On an inhale, left leg stalks into the chest, pressing firmly through the right foot, lifting through that right femur to find stability. Exhale, circling the leg and the arm back, gently trying to delay the impact of the foot lowering down. Staying low, we're coming into arrowhead. So arrowhead has similar legs to crescent lunge with the back knee lifted, but the belly is not resting. We want to keep this as active as possible, but it's almost on that front thigh. Arms reach long behind you, drawing the shoulders down the back towards each other, almost like you want the thumbs to link, but they won't get there. Pressing firmly through that back thigh to lift up through the hips. 1 more breath here. Inhale to lengthen the arms back. Exhale to circle the arms forward by the ears. Inhale to reach back. This time on the exhale, you're going to come into easy twist. So left hand down, right arm circles up to the sky. Lifting through that back hip, just to neutralize the hips. Spreading the chest wide. Then coming back on an inhale to your arrowhead. I'm going to do that 2 more times. So exhale forward with the arms. Inhale to back to the arrowhead. On the exhale, circling the right arm up into easy twist. Holding for a full inhalation and exhalation. Then back on the inhale to arrowhead. Last time, exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale, open, easy twist. This time, turning all 10 toes to the right side of the mat for Soma Chandrasana. Going to lower the hips down. Right arm reaches long. Inhale here. Then exhale, lift the hips. Draw the right arm up and over to the front of the room. Keeping that going. Inhale. Draw the hips down. Right arm to the back of the mat. Exhale, press the hips up. One more. You should feel a nice stretch in the right hip flexor. Exhale the hips high. Circle the arms down. Press the right leg straight up to the sky for scorpion. Really opening up through the hips, just gently. Then releasing the foot down and coming through your floating dog vinyasa. So waving forward on the inhale, back on the exhale. Inhale again, waving forward. This time dropping the hips, keeping the thighs lifted. Staying here on the inhale, and then exhale, downward dog. One breath here to recenter. And when you're ready, gazing forward, lifting high with the heels, maybe practicing jumping to the top of the mat, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold. Arms rise through to heart center with the hands, Tadasana. Last round, inhale, lift up. Exhale, lift the heels. Pressing the chest forward, hips back for divers. Exhaling to Uttanasana. Then as you stand, right knee comes into the chest, firming through that left leg. And then arms travel back with the foot, slowly reaching it back till you eventually find the mat for arrowhead. Again, pressing firmly through the chest, reaching the chest forward. Your lower belly sits on that thigh, but it's not relaxed. Everything's as active as you can be. Pressing firmly through that back right thigh, lifting through the kneecap. Then inhale, the arms reach back. Exhale, circle them forward. Inhale, back to arrowhead. This time, right hand down as you circle the arm high for easy twist. Pausing for the full round of breath. And then when you're ready, inhale back to arrowhead. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Coming into easy twist, left arm high. One more round. Inhaling back to arrowhead when you're ready. Exhaling the arms forward. Inhale, draw them back. Coming into easy twist, left hand high. Pausing again. And then turning all 10 toes. So you're on the edges of the foot towards the left side of the room. Left hand comes down. Reaching for that back foot, hips lower. Inhale here. And then on the exhale, lift the hips. Left arm reaches high. Keeping that going with the breath. Inhale down. Exhale, lift, really press through the feet. One more. Then circle the arm forward. Planting the right foot, lifting the left into the air for scorpion. Releasing down. Waving the body forward into high plank, downward dog. Coming into high plank to lower through floating dog. Drawing the shoulders down the back, staying for the inhale. Exhale, downward dog. This time slowly dropping the knees down to the mat, Coming back into tabletop position. Keeping the lower belly pressed into the spine. Reach the right leg back, the left arm forward, thumb facing up, right toe mound pointing down to the mat. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, curl the knee in towards that left elbow. 2 more just like that. Inhale to reach back long. Exhale, curl it in. 1 more. Pressing the left hand into the mat. Right leg bends up. Maybe reaching the left arm back. Pressing that right foot into the hand. Foot tied to the back bend. Thinking of lifting the chest high as you press the foot into the hand to draw the left shoulder down the back. Releasing the bind. Right arm remains off the mat. Right leg, remains off the mat. Inhale to lengthen the leg back. Exhale, curl the knee in towards the chest, and slowly the right knee is going to stack over the left. So you're in Gomukhasana. Releasing the hips down. And so ideally we want the hips on the floor, even between the 2 seated bones. The knees can be out, the feet can be as wide as you want. If this is really uncomfortable for you, you can get your block or your cushion to elevate the hips, and that might help you find a bit more space for this position. But if that's still not working for you, then a nice cross-legged position with the legs almost in like a square position. So the knees out wide with the feet alongside them on either edge. Either way, in whatever position you might be in, when you're ready, on an exhale, you're going to slowly draw the belly forward, releasing it to the top thigh, relaxing the chin to the chest. And we're going to hold this for quite a while, just allowing the right hip to open a little bit more. Engaging the Ujjayi Pranayama, constricting the back of the throat with every exhale. On the inhales, as you reach the chest a little bit more forward and down to the front of the mat. At the same time, with the exhales, try and think of pressing the hips back into the mat behind you, trying to avoid lifting too much through the hips. Keep the feet nicely activated, just flexing the feet gently, just to help protect the knees. Hip openers like these are always difficult, depending what time of the day it is and what kind of workouts you've done. If you've been seated a lot, we hold a lot of emotion and a lot of tension in our hips. And poses like this always remind me of something my favourite teacher always says. The pose begins as soon as you're ready to leave it. That's when the magic really happens. That's when you actually have to work for the pose. A few more breaths. Deep inhales and exhales in and out of the nose. And then coming out of it, just lifting up gently. Drawing the knees over, coming back into the tabletop for the other side. This time, left leg back, right arm forward, thumb reaches high, left back toe down, lengthen on the inhales, exhale, curl the knee into the elbow, sucking the lower belly into the spine. 2 more, inhale, reach long, exhale, draw it in. 1 more. Left leg back, Lifting up through the knee, bending the knee, drawing the right arm back to meet that left foot for tiger back bend. Pressing that foot into the hand. Reach the chest high. Gazing up at the sky, maybe testing your balance. Really firming through that left hand for a bit more support. Then releasing gently. Left leg stays long. Right hand on the mat now. Inhale here. Exhale, curl the knee in towards the nose. Drawing the left leg over the right. Coming back into Gomukhasana on the other side. Again, lots of options. Either elevate the hips or come into a nice squared, easy seat position. Whatever suits you. And then when you're ready, keeping the chest lifted and slowly walking forward, keeping the hips back as you reach the chest forward and down. Belly pressing to that upper left thigh. Relaxing your chin into the chest. Just enjoying the next 10-12 breaths of stillness. You can use the inhales to lift the chest slightly forward or relaxing the belly down and sinking the hips a little bit more back. Noticing if the exhales, as it relaxes the body and relaxes the mind, can it relax into that any part of tension you might hold in your hips? Slowly easing your way out. This time just lengthening legs out forward. Big toes coming to touch Paschimottanasana. Inhale to lengthen the spine, maybe the arms reach high, lower belly tucked into the spine. Activating the feet. Exhale to hinge from the hips. Maybe having nice bent knees to get that belly pressed firmly to the thighs. There's no need to go for a deep hamstring stretch here. We want this stretch to be all about the spine. So sometimes having bent knees and having maybe something, a cushion underneath them for support is a great way to get that nice spinal stretch. If you do have straight legs, really think about pressing the heels out and the big toes whilst the pinkies draw a little bit more forward. We want to lengthen the inner part of the thighs of the legs just as long as the outside edges. 5 breaths here, relaxing wherever you are. Maybe noticing on the exhales after a few rounds if you can lengthen a little bit more forward. Getting that lower belly gently pressed towards the thighs. And slowly easing up. This time the knee is going to come out wide into Baddha Konasana, bound angle. If you want more yin, you want a little bit more activity in the inner thighs, you're going to draw the feet close, pressing the feet towards each other, spreading the knees out wide. But if you're like me and want a bit more yin in your life, you're going to have the knees a little bit wider, so more of a diamond shape. And then when you're ready, exhaling to forward fold. If you're in the yin position, you might want to thread the arms underneath, around the shins, reaching for the feet before you release the chest forward and down. Just a few breaths here, settling in, allowing the spine to relax and fold. Finding a little bit more depth with every exhale. And slowly easing your way up. Coming onto our back now. This is a great time for if you have either your block or your cushion or your book. Slowly lying down on the back body. Option is waterfall, but if you have a shoulder stand and plow pose in your practice and that's what you prefer, then go ahead and take it. For me, waterfall is one of my favorite ways to invert and keep it more yin and relaxed like, particularly at the end of the class, when it's all about rebounding rather than being active. Particularly with today's theme about water and waves, waterfall just seems perfect. You want to make sure the block underneath your hips isn't uncomfortable. You just want the legs to wave effortlessly in the air, closing down the eyes. If you have shoulder stand, making sure that you keep your neck neutral, no moving side to side, no looking at your screen or your phone. Keeping your gaze maybe firmly planted on your toes. And after a few, maybe 5-6 breaths in your shoulder stand, you're going to release the legs long behind you for plow. Keeping here if you're in your waterfall. Allowing the exhales to help you melt into the mat. If you're in plow pose, maybe bending the knees by the ears for death man's pose. If you're in waterfall, maybe straightening the legs down to the floor. Maybe keeping them bent, one or both at the same time. Reaching the legs down, almost like you're in Shavasana, but you've got the block or cushion underneath your hips just to elevate. It's just like a nice way to kind of spread the lower back and your butt a little bit more before you sink into the ground. If you're in plow, coming straight up to shoulder stand and then slowly lowering back onto the back. Maybe a quick Matsyasana, fish pose, just to rebound after your plow. If you are taking a Matsyasana, make sure you really spread the chest broadly to the sky as you puff it up, pressing firmly through the forearms and the elbows into the mat underneath you. And then all meeting on the back body. We've got the block underneath. We're going to slowly lift the hips up to release, moving it to the side, away from you. Then keeping the lower back pressed into the mat, feet come up towards the sky. You're going to come into happy baby, threading the arms through the thighs, outside the shins to the outside edges of the feet, gripping the feet with the hands, spreading the feet apart, flexing the toes, drawing the knees down by the side body, closer towards your armpits maybe. Maybe a few gentle rocks side to side. Just releasing any last amount of tension that might be in the lower back. Coming to stillness when you're ready. And then releasing the grip, spreading the legs wide, coming into Shavasana. If you need a blanket or or a jumper for a little bit more warmth as you cool down. Take the moment to put it on. Otherwise, keeping the eyes closed, relaxing the body, melting it into the mat for your Shavasana. And then either stay in your Shavasana if you're happy to stay just as you are. Or if you're coming out with me, just gently wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, getting a little bit of movement back into the body. Maybe drawing the knees up into the chest, cradling, giving yourself a hug, keeping the eyes closed if you can. Rolling to your right side, and then coming up into a nice easy seat. Hands gently pressed to the thighs, maybe to heart center. I'm going to leave you with this last quote that inspired me to do a water-based class today. This quote is by Nikki Barnes. Waves. When tough times come your way, you really only have two options. You can either fight the waves or you can ride them. You can spend all of your energy wishing things were different and wishing that situations and people would change. You can spend your precious time fighting against reality and all that is. Or you can let go and ride the waves. You can soften. You can accept that life brings waves, and some waves will be undoubtedly wonderful, but others will be incredibly tough. My lovely friend, I hope you learn to ride your waves. Hands together, to heart center, namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today.